So let's give something new a try. I'm cheap. You know I'm cheap. If you've been watching my channel, you guys know that. I buy the cheapest stuff I can get, and I try to get the highest quality stuff I can get. But I also buy where all cheap people buy their stuff. AliExpress. There's a lot of junk out there, especially if you go and you grab the cheapest of the cheap. There's also good stuff. I want to take a quick look at the junk I've bought from AliExpress that I think is worth buying and what's not worth buying. Maybe I can make this into a monthly, weekly segment. I don't know how often. Just let me know what you think in the comments. We can start. What did I get this week? A giant mouse pad. I think this came out to about 10 euros or so. It's quite big. It helps cover up my ugly stained desk, and it gives a nice soft texture to work with. It's great for the mouse. Been using it for a few days and works quite well. I think it comes in 2 versions, what they call fast and accurate. I believe this is the fast version. It has this K-Moon logo on it. Not really sure if that's the company or, I've seen these slapped with all kinds of pictures and text, and you can actually custom order them as well if you spend a little bit more. Put whatever you want on them. Anyway, it works well. There's really not much that can go wrong with these. So that's something I think is worth just ordering direct online. It might take a while for you to get, a couple weeks. But it's definitely better than working with a solid desk. It's nicer, and the feel in general is nice when you lay your hands down. Anyway, quality seems fine to me. What else? Funnels. First, I got a flexible funnel to pour liquids into the car. I'm too lazy to go out and get it, but let me let you know that hose is a miracle. Simple tools like this can make life 10 times easier, so I can recommend that. As for the other funnels for the home, just a set of funnels. Nothing to complain about there. Very simple. Not much that can go wrong there. What else? A pair of winter gloves. These actually surprised me on the quality. It's very well insulated and not bad at all. And I've been using them for the past few days when we've had minus 20-degree weather, and the warmest gloves I've ever owned. We'll see how long they last, but I generally like to go cheap with gloves because I lose them before they have ever worn out. If they rip, I'll put an update. Some hats, about €1.50 a piece. They're decent. They're not the warmest hats, but they do the job. I've been okay with them. For others, I might say that, I don't know, let's say if the temperature is minus 10 or below, you might want to get something a little bit warmer. That said, I haven't had any real problems with it, and I've been quite comfortable with them. I've had hats like these delivered from China before, and they've lasted me years and years. It's really an item that is very simple and little can go wrong. They did send me the wrong color, so there is that. So I did get a full refund for that yellow hat, so a nice free yellow hat. It's nice. What else? A cheapo thermos. Bao Wen Bei. I'll have to ask somebody what that means. I don't actually know. I will use this, but I'll tell you right away, you are better off buying a cheap IKEA thermos. This did come a little bit damaged. Actually, the bottom was pretty bad with the bottom popped out, and I had to pop it back in, which definitely means there is no vacuum seal inside. So the insulation is not going to be that great with air in there, and it has a bit of a leak. But it does have this nice little thing to put your leaves in, and for that alone, I like it. Unfortunately, it really does have the thermal properties of your common mug. It doesn't insulate that well, and I really can't imagine it staying warm for more than an hour, if that. Of course, I will request a partial refund on that because of the damage. Sellers on AliExpress, they're generally pretty good about that. So hopefully there's no issues with that. Windshield wipers. I've already installed the rear wiper. These are not too much cheaper than buying locally, but again, for me, it's the convenience of not having to go drive out half an hour to the only stores that have it and spend the gas and time and money. Instead, I can just have it shipped straight to the door for the same price. And, I installed the rear wiper, works perfectly. They were very well packed, no complaints as of yet. We'll see how long they last, but again, these are just slices of rubber on a plastic windshield wiper. There's not too much that can go wrong with them. A UV light flashlight, 365 nanometer spectrum. So you can check if your hotel bathroom is clean. I bought these to help cure UV activated resin, seeing as we don't actually get that much UV light around here. I haven't had a chance to see if it works like it should, but playing around with the UV light is cool, and you can make the world fluoresce around you, so that's pretty neat. Fuses. Bags and bags of fuses. They all work fine. It turns out in the car I had a seat heater that was shorting out. It was nice to have these while I was trying to figure out what the problem is, blow a fuse, replace it. Also needed some fuses for a shorted out small transformer and for my multimeter. And not really too much to say. They're fuses. They work. Got a couple of fuse clips for the car fuses. It makes grabbing fuses a little bit easier. Another really cheap tool to make a simple job so much easier. Whistles. I like to keep a whistle in the car. You never know if you have an emergency and you need to grab somebody's attention. 30 cents. It works. Might as well get it. Pill cutter. We have a sick ferret. It's a very simple, extremely cheap feeling design. I broke one a while back ago just by dropping it. Got another one. They're only 50 cents. So as long as you don't drop them, they're great. When you're giving medicine to a ferret, the portions are really tiny and they're really hard to cut by hand. This little tool works incredibly well for as cheap looking as it is. And it makes cutting those pills much easier. Of course, we got some bike brake lines, 50 cents a piece. There's not much to say about that. Also got the tubing. They work. I installed them on my bike. I've had these cables before. Not much that can go wrong with them. Ethernet cables, $5 for 3 meters of Cat 7 cabling. Now, I actually do plan to make a video that's a lot more in depth on Ethernet cabling. Why? Because there's a lot of fake cables out there, meaning that you won't always be getting standard cables. And it's not something people really think of, but I assure you that it affects network communication and, most importantly, speed. It's something you might not even know that you have if you've gotten one of these cables. So eventually, I do plan to delve into that topic. And when you find a seller that does sell good cable, it's good to stick to them. Of course, for the first time buyer, that's a pain because you never know. So personally, it's kind of hard to recommend to buy cabling from AliExpress unless you really know what you're getting into. That said, cabling in store is so ridiculously expensive that I don't know how they justify the prices. So I don't know what to tell you there. Watch the video when it comes out. Garlic press. It's not that bad. It does the job. I was hoping for a little bit of a tighter seal between the metals, but overall it works, does a pretty good job. 200 rubber bands, for day-to-day use to have on hand. Metal spray bottle. Wanted something to carry concentrated windshield wiper fluid to clear out the ice on the inside of the car. This fits the job. I had to cut the straw a little bit, but otherwise, no issues. Glitter. Ha. Yeah, there's another joke video coming up. I'll keep you guys in suspense. DVI cable for my dual monitor setup. A digital cable works or it doesn't. This cable works. So yeah, that's it for this week. My own opinion is that you need to learn when to buy cheap and when to spend just a little bit more. Even when you're buying on a site like AliExpress, you can get some actual pretty good, decent quality if you spend just a little bit more. But then be aware that when you order something, for example, from China, you will not be getting the same warranties that you get from your home country. For example, in the EU, there's an extensive 2-year warranty on most products that you buy. That expensive phone that you might find cheaper on AliExpress, when it breaks 6 months later due to some manufacturing defect, there's no replacement for you. You're kind of out of luck. Or if you bought it in the EU, you can always request a replacement for manufacturing defects up to 2 years later. So that is something also to keep in mind. That's this week for you. If you like this sort of video, hit that like button. If you want to keep on seeing more, maybe I'll do it once a week, more likely maybe once a month, or who knows. If you didn't like it, go ahead and hit that like button anyway, and leave a comment telling me that you prefer to watch other content. And do subscribe if you have not already. As well as remember that no matter where you are in this world, try to have a good day, a good night, and a good morning.